Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We missed you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Missed you guys too. I was on an actual vacation.
we did. Yeah.
An actual
You
vacation.
deserve it.
Which I've not done an actual vacation in a while. Other Sundays that I've missed, I've actually been working on commitments I'd made before I came here. So this is an actual vacation, and I have to say I'm probably not very good at it. I need more practice. So part of the vacation was really lovely and wonderful and relaxing, and it was just fun and did some cool things. And part of it was like the National Lampoon vacation. It was like, what is happening? So part of it was really weird. So that made it more exciting to get back home and to get back to you. So maybe that's what the whole thing was about. But anyway, it was kind of fun and an adventure, and so it was very cool. So I'm back. As you may or may not know, that of course Centers for Spiritual Living has their yearly theme and a theme for each month, and this month, the month of August, the theme is value-based spiritual living through love, compassion, and caring. And how timely is that? I mean, it's so timely that this is what we're focusing on at a time where sometimes in our human experience doesn't sort of appear that way. Some people didn't get this particular memo, apparently. And what Centers for Spiritual Living says about that is this. We embrace love as the self-givingness of God to all creation, moving through us into expression as compassion, caring, mutual respect, and kindness. We express interest in and support for the well-being of ourselves and others. We express unconditional love when observing the suffering of others, and we do what we can to give aid and show compassion. These are very high ideals, and I think they're wonderful ideas to commit to living up to. Because the more of us that actually do that, the more the world will change for the better and become a world that works for everyone. So I know I gave homework all the month of July. This is your homework. I mean, really to embody and embrace that idea of love, compassion, and caring, and be the presence of it in all circumstances in your life. Because it makes a difference. It makes a difference not only in your own life, it makes a difference in the lives of those you meet, and it makes a difference in the lives of those you don't meet. It makes a difference in the life of this planet. I guarantee it, and I beg you, if you didn't do any of the homework in July, I forgive you. Please do this. This is the one homework I really, really, really beg you and demand that you do, because it's important. It's important for the world, not just for us. So we said our prayers for some of the immediate hot spots, but let's continue those prayers. Let's wash over this planet with love. It's interesting, sometimes wisdom comes from interesting places. Jimi Hendrix, I don't know if he was on drugs when he said this or not, but it doesn't matter because what he said was really important. And he said something something kind of like this. I may be paraphrasing. He said something kind of like this. In order for the world to work for everyone, we must release and give up the love of power so that we might embrace the power of love. That's important. Give up the love of power so that we might embrace the power of love. If he was on drugs when he came up with that, then I want some of those. I mean, so we should be administering those to people. I mean, that's really smart. The power of love has the power to help us to create that world that we want to live in, the world that works for everyone. And so today, I really want to focus on the greatest love of all, living in the heart of the beloved, living in the heart of spirit, living as the heart of spirit, living as the beloved. It's important. So our founder, Ernest Holmes, wrote this. He said, "Love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. It is written that God is love and that we are his expressed likeness, the image of the eternal being. Love reigns supreme over all. The essence of love, while elusive, pervades everything, fires the heart, stimulates the emotions, renews the soul, and proclaims the spirit. Only love knows love, and love knows only love." That gives me chill bumps. I mean, that's really powerful. Wouldn't you like to just like a tea bag dunk yourself in that for a while? I mean, that's really It's really powerful. It's that eternal flame that resides within each of us, but some of us have put layers and layers and layers and layers of varnish on top of it. It's time to get out whatever it is that you get out, to take that off. Unpeel those layers and become the true essence of who we truly are. You know, we have an inherent urge. We have an inherent urge within us to commune with, to merge with, to become one with the beloved, with Spirit, with God, with the One. Spirit also seeks to move into union with us because we are its beloved. We are the beloved of Spirit itself. Did you know that you were that important? You are. You are the beloved of Spirit. You're the one Spirit wants to go to the dance with. You're the one. You're the one Spirit wants to live its life in and through and as. You're the one. And Spirit actually needs us in order to express itself in this human experience. And Spirit's desire is to express itself at the highest possible level. And so we're being called to become the greatest truth, the greatest authentic being that we can possibly be. We're called to that. We're not called to play small. We are called to live large and to play large, to be big. We are called to change the world. And we have the tools to do it. You know, it's really a pretty simple concept. It's a very simple concept. Unfortunately, it appears not to be easy for all of us. We're good at making things hard, and then some of us are making it very hard to be the full expression of love. Holmes went on to say that everything in the universe is a unique expression of the one. The one creative power is expressing in you in a unique way, seeking a fuller outlet of its infinite possibilities. God goes forth anew into creation through every person's life. If we disconnect ourselves from the past and find ourselves firmly rooted in God today, in love, in hope, in joyful expectancy, and in grateful acknowledgement, and if we learn to harmonize with everything that transpires today, tomorrow will blossom like a new flower in our experience. Simple. But for some reason, we don't make it easy. Why not? Connection and communion with Spirit sometimes gets clouded by that uneasiness with which we approach it. It gets clouded by our fears and our doubts and our failures and our resentments and our past. And I got to tell you something, that's all made up stuff. We make it into a big, huge monster mountain when indeed it's a molehill. It's an anthill. It's no big deal. But we make it so, and then it feels insurmountable, but it's not. And because of that, we feel a sense of separation from Spirit. We feel a sense of separation from each other. We feel a sense of separation from our very selves. Because we've created this big mountain of yuck and put it squarely between us and our good. It's our doing, which is the bad news. The good news is, it is also our undoing. If we undo it, we can recreate the experience that we're having by moving into the simplicity of remembering who we are and living from that space. Living from that space. We've been given all the tools, all the gifts that we need to live from that space. But we complicate it by bringing in all this stuff that's not even real. Plus, we don't even like it. Why do we do that? Why do we bring stuff we don't like into our lives? I have two things to say about that. Stop it! Okay? Clear enough? Stop it! And if you just stop it, we could all go home right now. But we're going to support each other in stopping what no longer serves and embracing and living out what does serve each of us and all of us and the one of us. So we must reawaken to the divine within ourselves and each other. It's not enough just to awaken to the divine within yourself. We must awaken to it, recognize it in the other also. Even the other that we think is our enemy. We have to look really hard sometimes to get past ourselves and into the heart of the beloved that lives within every single person, including the nasty ones. You have to look a little harder sometimes. Oh, you know that. You know that guy. Okay. All right. Yeah, but it's good. It gives us a good workout. It pumps up our heart muscle, which is good, right? So again, Ernest Holmes says that God is not only an infinite presence, the Spirit is also an indwelling reality. It lives within us. There is always a silent communion going on between the individual soul and the invisible presence in which we live, move, and have our being. By communion, we mean silently entering into the divine harmony and beauty until we feel that harmony and beauty in our own souls. So you need to wash yourselves over with all of that love and good first, and then express it, expand it outward. But you cannot give what you don't already have. So until we recognize it within ourselves, it's hard to recognize it within someone else. That's when it gets easier to see it in others, when we see it and know it and be it in ourselves. So that's what we're called to. And love is a central mystical theme in all the major spiritual traditions in the world, from ancient times to modern times, all over the world. There's this yearning for union with the divine, with the beloved of our soul, with spirit. It calls us home in love and oneness to the very essence, the very source of our beingness. 13th century Persian poet Hafiz. You familiar with Hafiz? I love Hafiz. He's profound and hysterical at the same time. He's a very funny guy. 13th century Persian poet Hafiz. If you're not familiar with him, go online and check him out. He'll keep you uplifted all day long. He says this: "My heart sits on the arm of God like a tethered falcon suddenly unhooded. Beloved, I am waiting for you to free me into your mind and infinite being. I am pleading in absolute helplessness to hear, finally, your words of grace to me. Fly, fly unto me." Can't you just see that falcon spreading its wings? Flying into the arms of spirit, flying into the heart of the beloved. The search for the beloved and the ecstatic joy of oneness is a central theme in the mystical tradition of Islam, Sufism. The Sufis, you remember the Sufis, the whirling dervishes, they are the mystical arm of Islam. And we see it in the poetry of Rumi and Kabir and Hafiz. Here's one, I love this one. Hafiz, if you have ever made wanton love with God, then you have ignited the brilliant light inside that every person needs. I mean, think about that. Making wanton love with God. Living in the heart of the beloved. Living as the heart of the beloved. How cool is that? Wouldn't you like to have God as your boyfriend, girlfriend, lover? Sure, why not? It's got to be close to perfect, right? It's not like one of those online, it's not like one of those services. I mean, it's really cool. It's what?
Hot.
Hot, yeah. God is hot. There is not a spot where God is not hot. Right? Okay. Those all the right moves. We see it in Hinduism from the teachings of Ramakrishna, who says that God is love, the self is love. Become mad with love in order to realize God consciousness. Total absorption in divine presence. The supreme purpose and goal of human life is to cultivate love, pure love. It embraces humanity and divinity. God abides hidden in the hearts of all. Isn't that cool? These guys are like cool, right? Wouldn't you like to get a love note from some of these folks? Yeah. And Christianity teaches that divine union with the beloved is transformative. It transforms us into more of who we truly are. From St. John of the Cross's search for the beloved in the dark night of the soul, he says, "O night that guided me, O night more lovely than the dawn, O night that joined beloved with the lover, lover transformed in the beloved." We are transformed in the heart of the beloved's spirit. We are transformed into who we truly are, and we are able to then give up who we are not. It's a waste of time and energy to be who we're not. You know, many of us have been touched by glimpses of this union with the beloved as spirit, this beloved spirit itself that lives within us and all around us. We've felt those glimpses as a feeling of oneness and connectedness, a feeling of unconditional agape love, where everything just feels in place and feels good. That feeling of grace, like we've just been graced with goodness. The feeling of freedom and synchronicity and flow, being in the zone, even that is sort of a dance with the beloved. This recognition of light or illumination in our hearts and in our minds and our souls, a feeling of ecstasy, a sense that Spirit is breathing and living us, that each time we take a breath in and give a breath out, that we are in that divine flow and circulation of Spirit itself. Communing with the beloved, being in union with the beloved, must be active in daily life. It's not something we can just do on Sunday or once a month or once a year at Easter, just in case. You know, we need to have that be an active part of our lives, that we set it as the tone, as the foundation of how we live, that we set time aside daily to be with the beloved, to make it a life practice. Just, you know, you wouldn't leave the house without brushing your teeth. I mean, my God, then sit down with Spirit, you know, be in the heart of the beloved while you're brushing your teeth. You know, we can multitask, you know, we can, right? Be with the beloved while you're doing all those routine things that you would never dream of not doing in a day. And stop dreaming that you can live the life that you're destined to live without being in touch with the beloved on a daily basis. Anybody who's ever been in a relationship knows you can't just ignore the other person for a lifetime and think that that's okay. Eventually you're going to get caught, right? Same thing with the beloved. The beloved wants to spend time with us. Intentional, conscious communion. It must be regular and sustained, or the relationship doesn't work very well for us. Turning to face Father, Mother, God, Spirit, the beloved, is an act of love, and it builds those love muscles. And then we become God seeds of illumination and possibility, and we become really powerful in the world. We become more than we think we can be. But here's the real question. Here's the real question to ask yourself. It's a simple concept, but it's not easy. And so the question to ask yourself is, you know, can you bring yourself into intimacy with the presence and the power of the beloved? Can you give yourself fully over to the intimacy with the presence and the power of the beloved? It is a big request, I guarantee you, to give yourself over, to give your all, to give all of you into the heart of the beloved, to open emotionally to the all in all, to the I am of Spirit, to feel deeply and openly without any hesitation or limitation in intimacy with the one, to be still and silent in the presence of that I am Spirit, to be still and silent and allow yourself to be washed over with love like you have never known before. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. And just when you think it can't get any better, it gets better. More love. We stand in awe and wonder and humility and surrender and grace in the presence of the beloved. To become one with the beloved, who is the self of yourself. To become one with the beloved, who is the self of yourself, awakens us into the light of awareness of you, of Spirit, of the one. Just one. There's only one. And that one is love. Enlivened, empowered, expanded, ennobled in our authentic beingness. Fully authentic, fully experienced and expressed. Mind and heart and soul filled and expanded and living itself from inside out to overflowing. Overflowing with goodness and love. It sounds like paradise, doesn't it? It sounds like Eden. We've been there before. And then we started painting those layers of varnish. right? So let's get out the, what do you use to take varnish off? What is that? Alcohol. No?
Turpentine.
Okay, turpentine, whatever. We're going to use whatever the tools are. And in this teaching, the tools are our spiritual practice. That's what takes those layers of varnish off between us and Eden and paradise, right? And so we do that, and then we find ourselves rightfully where we belong. I'm on a Hafiz thing right now. You can tell I was on vacation. I'm on a Hafiz thing. Because I think that perhaps Hafiz captures that power and presence of the intimacy with the beloved, that relationship, really powerfully with this poem. No one can keep us from carrying God wherever we go.
So
You want to be with Wayne Love, right? No one can keep us from carrying God wherever we go. Get this. We do not have to leave him in the mosque or church alone at night. We do not have to be jealous of tales of saints or glorious masks of those intoxicated souls who can make outrageous love with the beloved. No one anywhere can keep us from carrying the beloved wherever we go. No one can rob his precious name from the rhythm of my heart. Right? Whew. And Hafiz, he's a good one. So that, what happens is my little I then dissolves into the beloved I am in wholeness and oneness and love. That littleness that we seem to carry around like a badge dissolves into the heart of the beloved as wholeness and oneness and love, and we become who we truly are. And when we become that, we do change the world. We do create a world that works for everyone. And we release the love of power, and we embrace the power of love. Yeah. Love with and in and through and as the beloved spirit is who we truly are. So stop being a fake. Stop being a phony. Be who you truly are. Love, the heart of the beloved. Fall in love with your own essence. But first you have to take the layers of varnish off so that you can fall in love with your own essence. Your own essence. The beloved that God itself is in love with is you. Be as in love with yourself and with spirit as spirit is with you. Fall in love with spirit and commune with and be as attentive as you would with your greatest love of all. That's all I'm asking. Pretty simple. It's what you would like from your lover, your beloved, right? Attentiveness, being with, being connected. That's all Spirit wants from you. Simple. And it can be easy. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, love is not the answer, love is the assignment. So, as I said before, this is your homework, the homework of your life. If you never do any other homework, do this. Love is the assignment. Be that. Be that. So let's practice a little bit so that you'll have something to work with this weekend. Or it is the weekend, or this, for the rest of your life. We're going to practice a little bit. So I'm going to invite you to get comfortable in your chairs. Allow the chair to support you just as God would support you. And you know what? Can somebody turn off that light? Let's have it be a little mellow. Is it romantic? We're going to romance the place a little bit because the beloved is going to be coming. The beloved is coming. All right? Close your eyes. Breathe in deeply. Exhale fully. In that divine flow and circulation of the breath of God. The energy in which I live, move, and have my being is God's unconditional love. There is only me is God's unconditional love. There is only love. There is only love. The reality through which my life is unfolding is God's unconditional love. There is only love. There is only love. God's unconditional love is the greatest energy. There is only love. There is only love. God's unconditional love is the strongest power. There is only love. There is only love. God's unconditional love is the reality I most desire to know. There is only love. There is only love. As I accept and embrace God's unconditional love, love becomes the guiding force of my life. There is only love. There is only love. God and I dance in the delight of love. There is only love. There is only love. For this love and so much more, I am eternally grateful, and so it is. Amen. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only And finally, Jean Houston wrote, "Love is the doorway through which the human soul passes from selfishness to service and from solitude to kinship with all humankind. At this great transition point in human history, when we are taking on staggering responsibilities, both inward and outward, the Goddedness in us is yearning for us. The world may be urging us to coalesce into a new and higher unity, and the only force emotionally powerful enough to call us to sacred stewardship and communion and partnership with the beloved. For we probably will not have the passion for the possible until we experience the motivating power of the relationship with our beloved. There is only love. Blessings on your journey of love in the heart of the beloved Spirit, the greatest love of all. And so it is.